We should all just be laughing at a joke.
As we go live.
Yeah, as we go live. Well.
Hey, folks.
Yep. How's it going?
I cannot hear you guys again. Chris, I can't hear them.
Oh, no. But we are live.
Yeah, we are live. So I'm
Twitch.
glad that happened now.
Yeah. Hello.
I don't know what just happened.
Well,
all right, Ian, you can lead then.
okay. Well, are we good?
I'm just going to work on the technical problems, but welcome to the UNPUB versus HABA Design Jam.
Yep.
Oh boy, here we go. Starting off with a strong start. So we have 1 hour to try to get through all of this stuff. And Jay has very graciously put up the video right in front of us. There, it's in front of him. We can manipulate things. Heather, do you want to go through all of the different rules that we have to do this?
Sure. I can totally do that. So if you didn't already catch at the 7:30 panel, HABA had T as a representative and Ben from UNPUB and Dave Chalker as well, who helps out at UNPUB. And they explained the rules and the concept of all of this, which was generally that if you were a team, you got a bag of bits. This is the bag of bits. Ours is slightly different than what the teams got because I ran out of the same thing that they got, but it's pretty close. And
low-key stole the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we did get the carrot, which is there was only one, so it's pretty cool. And the Swiss cheese. And what they did is they made 3 D6 charts. So 3 lists of 6. They rolled the D6s, and that is what the rules ended up being. And what they ended up being were the following. Let me get it here. Must be about food. The game must be about food.
I'm glad you stole the cheese and the carrot.
That worked out. The fish could be food too. I mean.
Oh yeah, or the mice. We have a cat.
I guess, yeah.
Oh boy.
So then we've got
or witches and people. I don't know.
There's a lot we could do here. Yes. The other rule is we must use something we can hide. So that's going to probably be tough. But Ian had a great idea just from hearing the rules a minute ago. So
yeah, my idea was hide in a kid's mouth, which is probably not what we want to do, and probably the opposite of what should be on the warning on the box.
It's probably the wrong, yeah. Maybe we just hide it in a different way, probably, right?
Well.
And then this is the big one because of looking at what we have here. You cannot roll dice, and there's at least 4, if not 10 dice down there. So we're going to have to think outside the box here on that one. Mm-hmm. And we must use 7 bits.
Oh,
at least.
At least 7.
Yeah, at least 7.
Oh,
7 or more.
Oh, easy. Done. Okay.
I love our confidence.
I was like, at least 7? Like,
yeah,
I was expecting like use at least
20.
15.
Yeah,
like
exactly 7 would have been.
Yeah, that's fine.
Exactly 7. That would be challenging, but at least 7. We've got this down.
So we just found our rules out, a little more than 2 hours ago, and we had talked backstage a little bit about the fact that we wanted to talk about our approach and to game design in general, and especially game jams. So I don't know if anyone's done a quick game jam like this, or even over a weekend. Has anyone done one?
That was Ian. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I have. That's how Kingdoms of the Deep came about. Which is currently on Kickstarter. There you go.
Yeah.
But that was designed in 75 minutes. Like I had two themes, I had 2 mechanics, I had to marry them together as best as I could. And so this, I'm kind of thinking about this in the same way, where the mechanic is hiding something. And so if we base that idea around things, we can probably play off of that idea. So I try to go off of the experience. Like, what do I want to try to do? If I'm hiding something, what do I want that experience to be?
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a hypothetical question. Like,
no, I know. I'm like,
no, I know. Well, I just wanted to real quick.
Finding it, like.
I just wanted to real quick while we're thinking about that. I also have done a couple of game jams, and there's 2 different approaches from the 2 times I did it. The first time was we kind of focused in on a theme, and we just kind of were like, this is what we're doing, and we had a really kind of cohesive plan all the way through. The other time was no one could get on the same page. And it wasn't like we were fighting, but it was just like we took so much time coming up with the idea because there was so much we could have done that we had only like an hour to like really on the mechanics. So I mean, that could be fun. It might work out, but it's just that's sometimes how it works. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Oh yeah.
And
I based my entire game based off of just like one set of 5 meeples because they look like animals. It's like, okay, officially, these animals are trying to escape detention from Mrs. Mole, and that is my game now, and I made it.
There you go.
Nice.
So, I mean, this has to be about food, though.
Yep. So that helps that right there. Mm-hmm.
So hiding food. Or hiding food. So I have an idea. Idea. I just want to put it out there. So what if this is a kitchen game and someone is the sneaky person who steals the food out of the kitchen?
Okay. Could that someone be a cat?
It's up to you, I suppose. That's open to interpretation. But you lay out all the components on the table, and the person gets to decide where they go and how they everywhere that they go, and then everyone else closes their eyes.
Okay.
And then the person removes one piece and hides it in their hand.
Oh my God.
You have to figure out what piece has been hidden.
And then everyone opens their eyes and then gets to decide what color that piece is that is missing. And then they choose that via hiding their die. And then once everyone is ready, you reveal. And the person who's hiding gets 1 point for every answer that's wrong, and you get 2 points if you're right.
I am so ready for this, Anne, because I just downloaded a phone app that is, where you pick the differences, and I'm up to like the 300th level.
Oh my God.
If it's like green and dark green, I'm like, there. Like, that's the difference.
You just downloaded it?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I like Christmas. I mean, I would consider that just downloading it. So it's been like a month, but like I've just been playing it every morning.
That's
like
when
I get my
10
coffee.
puzzles a day. Like that's reasonable.
It's not too bad. The week after Christmas was a lot because I really took off that whole week and didn't do anything and just chilled. So yeah, I mean, we have a lot of different colors, and we do have those dice that have the color dots. So this is not a bad start. Does anybody have any other ideas?
I was like, I personally, when I saw everything, I saw there's like witches, and then there's some like, it looks like little girl meeples. And I just imagine like roommates and with their animals, because there's cats, there's fish, there's mice. If we could find some way to have all that involved, like, I don't know, because a lot of people will move in together, whether it be spouses or just like random people, but they have animals. They don't always get along. And, some of these animals might end up as food. I'm just saying.
So you bring your fish tank, you bring your pet rat, and you bring your cat, and things happen. That's 3 different roommates. Yeah, that can go bad.
So I would say if we wanted to run with Ian's idea, the first thing that I would want to work on is what stops players from just knowing exactly what the component list is and counting everything up. And the easy answer for me is just that you don't lay everything out every time.
Right.
You're gonna leave some parts hidden, and then you lay things out, and then people look, and then you take one away.
Yeah, so it's not like it's always going to be 2 purple, 2 blue, 2 yellow, 2 green, and 2 red. So this way they can't just like basically pick the highest probability of what it would be for something.
Or alternately, instead of something that's missing, you just move something.
Oh my God.
It could be like there's a couple
set it up like an apartment. Then like move it into a different room or something.
Yes. or just something like a piece gets moved, and
like if you take those blue circles and you flip it over, some of them have something on the other side. So that would be hard to notice.
Oh, really?
And the mice have the mice face on one side.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 of these discs have HABA on the other side, and 2 of them are just this on both sides.
Oh.
So that's another thing that we could potentially hide or move,
Because the fact is, if we had it showing a silver, and then we flipped it to the HABA side, right? Like that would be more obvious. But if it was HABA and then you flipped it down, you might not have paid attention to it. The red things have a star on the bottom. What else? I'm trying to think if anything else has a marking.
So the mice have all subtly different markings in terms of like, do they have ears? Do they have the neck thing? Like some of that is definitely not print intentional. So I wouldn't design around that if this were an actual product.
Yeah, probably not.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the hiding it in your hand idea, or removing it from the board and hiding it in your hand, and everybody has to guess. Maybe we can incorporate this roommate idea with that. Like maybe it's roommate versus roommate, or maybe it's sibling versus sibling, or something like that, right? So you know, to differentiate, one could be the green piece and one could be the witch piece. They don't have to be a witch. It could just be that's the two pieces.
Oh, I was like, oh, we have like the witchy mom and then the daughter.
I would like to take a moment and just think about the 3 rules that the 4 rules that we have. Examine if there are some sideways things or even just possibilities, right? Because must be about food. I mean, you don't need to sidestep that. That has a ton of interpretations, right?
Right.
Yep.
But just like, let's examine just for a moment, can't roll dice, right? It's obvious what the intent is there, but the way that it's worded is important, right? It doesn't say players can't roll dice. It says can't roll dice, which to me was like there could have been other mechanisms by which we cause dice to come to random faces. But it can't be by rolling, right? It could be by spinning.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to nix that right now.
That you can pick it up.
I have PTSD from this particular thing because I had to literally, like, okay. Fun fact. Little aside, I was a professional development person for quite a while. I taught teachers about game design. It was awesome. And one of the game design challenges I did was you have to design a game with dice, but you can't roll them. The amount of times that I've had to clarify this to say, adhere to the spirit of the rule. Yes, you're shaking them, not rolling them. But did you randomize the dice?
So like Biblios, for example, there's dice in it, but you uptick the dice because they represent a value.
Right.
Totally do. Everybody picks. They have a die in front of them that has those colors, and they can pick it. Like that's them using a dice. They're just not rolling it. They could stack them. They could.
Yeah, stacking them and pushing over the tower.
That could happen.
Which is tumbling. I've heard them all.
Yeah.
I've heard, like, I'm not shaking it. It's rolling inside of this basketball that I inflated around it. I'm like, how did you do that? Like someone literally had like a blow up ball and they somehow got the thing in there, taped it shut again. It's like
I don't
a lot of creative teachers out there. This good for them.
I think that's phenomenal, right? I think those creative solutions are the source of good game design.
That is
as
true.
Opposed to like, it's not like somebody gets hurt if we do find a way around can't roll dice, right? Like,
right, because it might end up being like, oh, that's a really clever way to do it because because we can't just roll dice. It's not random, or maybe it's random, but maybe in a different way, like. Put the die on top of that yellow cylinder, and then wherever it falls, that's what it is.
But if one of our team members isn't interested in exploring that aspect of that, that's fine.
That's fine.
There are plenty of other times, right? So must use something that you hide, right? Now that at first blush, that's like, okay, that's one of these components, right?
Yeah.
Wait, must use components that you hide. We could be hiding anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. Thanks, T, by the way.
Oh, I missed it. You could be hiding. You could have a number in mind, like pick a number between 1 and 10, that kind of thing. And, anything like that. There could be so much. Nice. There could be so much we could do. We are upsetting Ian, though, which is.
Yeah, we're definitely doing that. He's going to be filling that whole glass with something that's not water.
It's certainly not vodka. I'm drinking water. It's water.
Yeah, I hope that's not vodka. Wow.
I was going to say, this is a HABA challenge. We're trying to make a problem game here, which might be the reason.
It's water in a German glass.
Getting back to Jay's thing, we also have to do 7 pieces, which I think will be not a problem. But
okay, maybe that's a good way to start. We have a lot of pieces. Are you saying anything that we need to get away from? Because like maybe that's distracting us a bit.
Are we? Ooh, it doesn't have to be a kid's game. It can just be a game.
Right. Okay, cool.
But I mean,
kind of, yeah. Yeah, so
Are we going with this hide and seek sort of thing idea? Like, are we kind of
like a hide, seek, hide, and move?
Yeah, hide and move.
I'm down.
I kind of like that in concept. I think that's an interesting starting point. Maybe the reason that they're doing it changes. If we were to take these, there's the full screen of it. If we were to take anything out of this, I feel like those large, the circle that looks kind of like a carpet, or I don't know what that is. I don't know that we would need those. I don't know if we
the one the cat and the fishies are on right now.
I mean, I'm just thinking out loud. I would like to keep the food looking things, right?
Yeah,
but, I mean that's a potential thing to set things on. And
that's true.
So
that's true. Yeah.
Like, I kind of like that idea of like literally setting up the table underneath the what's it called? Rampage? Or I'm sorry, Terror in Maple City.
Put some things under in between.
Yeah, like supporting the table with the pieces themselves to kind of throw people off.
I like it.
I mean, we have enough little cubes to be legs of like tables and make those like 2 dining room tables or some crap that's in your apartment.
I kind of like that. Maybe I just said that, get rid of that. But if you made that into a little table and we hid something like under the table, that could.
Yeah, because I think on the other side it's just straight up, I don't know, wood looking,
it's
and not like a little
wood.
island. Yeah,
that could be a table.
Like a table. Yeah.
I think it's a rug, but I mean,
it could. Yeah. And there's those plain wooden cubes, or there's even like the yellow cube, like blocks they could use for that. So there's a couple things we could do there.
So let's take a moment and think about what would we want to say with a theme about food. Is there an experience or a message or anything that we would like to express as the design team that we are about food?
Feed me, please.
Well, Ian, you had to originally we talked about the fact of like hiding things, or they were stealing snacks or something. Danielle's idea was about like 2 roommates, animals fighting, or maybe trying to eat each other, or maybe stealing their roommate's cat was stealing their food, or dog was eating their food. We've talked a couple of different things about that. So I kind of like the idea that there's a scarcity of food there and you're trying to get it. I mean, I like that in theory. Either one of those is cool with me. Jay, do you have any feelings?
Only that I'm aware of this food chain thing that's happening here, where there's fish and mice that the cat could eat. There's carrot and cheese that the mice could eat.
The fish just
the fish
starfish,
whatever these food pellets are.
Yeah, humans could eat the fish.
There's a chain there.
Yeah, I also kind of see the little tiny green discs and the purple disc could maybe represent fruit or other food.
Sure.
A cake.
Sure.
Purple could be a cake, a cookie.
It could crazy guy that mostly isn't about food, but does have at least
a pizza.
That's primarily food.
I think that's a little bit too identifying. Like it's so unique that.
Should we take that out?
Yeah, I say take that out.
Yeah.
We made a decision.
One down.
One down.
Like,
I'm just gonna take it off the screen. Yeah.
The witches probably can go away too. Like like the mice are close enough to each other that you might not know.
And if we didn't have the 2 human people, I would maybe not do that, but we've got the humans, so let's just get the witches out of there. Yeah.
Narrowing down options is definitely a good way to.
It's definitely helping.
I totally agree with feed the cat.
Yeah, feed the cat. What's that little green thing next to the carrot? That could be food, I guess. Lettuce. I don't know.
This thing here, I don't know. Would this be like a ranger badge? I don't know what it is. It could be a shield. It could be a plant.
Okay.
So
I'm okay losing that, but unless you have anybody have any thoughts.
So just before we go too much further, because I had an idea, because I was also thinking about how the round would work, because having one person hide something and have one person take things away, that's not as that can be a little bit iffy. But what if on your turn you opened your eyes, you moved 2 things, and then you took one thing away?
You moved 2 things and took one thing away.
Right. And then the next player then opens their eyes, moves 2 things, takes one thing away. The next player moves two things, takes one thing away. The last player does the same thing, and then everyone opens their eyes, and then the first player then has to decide where the first thing went. I don't know.
Question: Does when the second player's eyes are closed, are everyone's eyes closed, or is it just the second player and the third and fourth player can see, so they know like what you're holding? Is that getting like?
That might actually get a little bit out of hand.
Yeah, I think that's a lot.
That's too many things. I think.
Like one thing.
Now that I say it out loud, that's just wrong.
I kind of like the if it's I'm the active player, I'm just manipulating the board for the other players. I kind of like that in general. I think that's a fun thing, especially if we're gonna, instead of using 7, if we're gonna use like 17 pieces or something, there could be like, was there 4 mice or were there 3 mice? I didn't pay enough attention, you know. So.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. Jay is just building stuff.
Just playing. Well, I mean,
that looks cool.
Who of us haven't?
All right. Well, I like that. I like that in theory, where, you know, again, I don't know what they're doing yet. The theme, we got a specific thing of why they're doing this food. We probably want to talk through a little bit. But I love the idea that there's manipulation on the board and people have to pick that up.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I still want them to have a food chain thing though, because I mean, we have these like beautiful looking mice and these little cheese cube things, like cheese wheels.
And the yellow could be cheese.
Yeah, it looks like cheese wheel. Like they could be going for that. The cat could be going for the fish. And
is the giant thing a string cheese? No, that's too big.
A giant tower of cheese.
Giant string cheese. Yeah,
it's the leaning tower of cheese.
I just got a Zendo idea. So you could make like koan dishes where it's like, okay, you know, this is a meal that the creature I'm thinking of would eat, and then you know,
yes,
like, okay, well, would they eat this meal, right? And it's just grouping items, and you know, it doesn't even matter what this represents. It's just you know, there is some rule that underlies it. You know, like, I will only eat a meal if there's more yellow things than non-yellow things, or you know, something like that.
Interesting. Yeah, because then, I mean, you could still do a food chain thing with that, where there was fish were involved in the options, right? Or other foods. So it was like, okay, like, you could have a human, a cat, and maybe a mouse as your characters. We could make something else be another cat, maybe the little green other thing. And everybody could kind of like have what, you know, they could say, oh, I think this is a human, or, you know, I'm representing it as a human or something like that, which could be a card. If it's not a piece, that's also possible in the real finished game.
Can we have cards?
Yeah.
It doesn't say we can't have cards.
Yeah.
Well, I just, so I thought it was just all. So what we could do with that then is do it kind of like, what's the game? I forget what it is, but you have like a goal of some sort that you're trying to go towards, and it's a secret goal. So some people are trying to go for the mouse, some people are trying to go for the cat, some people are trying to go for like something else. And so everyone, like, every time you can move something a certain distance, and everyone is trying to do different things, and you can eventually just try to accuse someone. I don't know. Now that's getting outside of the realm of what we want it to be. Like, we don't want it to be a secret traitor game.
But I still think I still think if we needed to, if we find it makes sense, we need a card for something to represent what, you know, what we're going for, or what kind of thing we are. We could totally write that on here and say, like, you are a cat, or you are a human, if we wanted to. I like Jay's idea a lot. And I also think it could be kind of cool it might be too crazy, to combine Ian's rearranging idea or moving idea with that food. So like, there's a whole bunch of food options, but then like on your turn, you hide a piece of food and maybe you propose a meal. So then all those are taken out of the pool and there's only so much left. So maybe there's something where there's a giant pool, but like the fourth person to go is going to have kind of a less option. The first player is going to have an advantage. And as that rolls around, you know, maybe it could even out. I don't know.
Well, what if we go along with that line of thinking, then how do we get that fourth player involved earlier? So you could say, like, whoever is directly to the right of you is looking out for what you're doing with that.
They get to
because-
see what you take or something. Yeah.
or they can try to accuse you of what you took, and if they're right, they get it instead.
Yeah, I mean, there's all these ideas are good, and I kind of like, instead of it just being a what got moved or what got taken, it's also like I want to try to feed one of these animals, or I want to try to ask you guys what animal I'm feeding, because I think that could kind of be fun, or thing I'm feeding. I like that concept, Jay.
Are we no longer going off the idea of possibly revealing those dice with the different colors that mean possibly? Because I mean, the colors on there are almost identical to the different colored fish that we're looking at. And
That's
like,
what I was thinking too originally.
Yeah, because like my brain went more that direction of, I don't know, all of us kind of like a push your luck reveal, like this is the food that we want. Like I want to eat, I don't know. I want to eat.
I also like the idea, what we could do is there's smaller cubes that are basically just plain that we could take a marker to and match them to the larger ones. So there would be more in the game. So it could be everybody gets one, or maybe there's a pool of, how many would that be? That would be
there are 8 of the small ones.
8 small ones, so there would be up to 11 that we could have out in the pool. So maybe it's like, oh, I like green and yellow, or I like red and blue.
Now here's the next thing. So maybe everyone hides their die. They choose the side that they want to flick. It's a flicking game now.
Oh my god. Okay.
Go on, I'm listening.
Yeah, we're listening.
And then once everyone's ready, you reveal. And in player order, then you get to flick one of the color pieces that you chose, and you have to try to feed a certain type of thing. And then we could throw the witches back in there, because then they can be a target.
I want to flick the people at the witches. I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's legitimate, I suppose.
Yeah.
Or the mites. I don't know. This gets dark pretty quick.
I don't know, because when I was thinking about it, I was like, reveal. And if, I don't know, say Heather and I both reveal the same color, it's like it cancels out. So it's like, well, our pet doesn't get fed today. And so they're just going to get a little bit more hangry each round or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was even thinking about it being, instead of it being that we hide the die, maybe the dice are what comes out, and maybe we have a thing like in front of us that we're hiding. I don't know. But so the dice might come out and it says, it's Ian's turn, and Ian flips them to be, instead of it being how Jay picked 3 things, maybe you just take 2 or 3 dice and you flip them to different colors. And depending on if that feeds my animal, it might feed multiple types of animal, possibly. You could score. So maybe like perfect match, I get 3. Iffy match, I get 1. No match, I lose something. I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here. But I like the interactiveness, because it's HABA. I like either the flicking or the removing or the rearranging stuff, because you want to be touching the pieces. So I do like that. I think, Danielle, we were talking earlier a little bit about the idea that like, if it wasn't about food specifically, it would be about cats like knocking glasses over and vases over and things like that, where you kind of flick things to do that. So maybe there's a way we could get. I
was going to say, Jay, are some of these things flickable? Have you checked?
Yeah, so a ton of these are super flickable. Most of them are short cylinders. I just checked the weirdest cylinder, and that flicked just fine. I'm sure you can.
We lost your feed there. There we go. We're back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I almost just added it because I noticed it popped away. It's there now.
Everything's super flickable.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So we're about at the halfway point. So I think we have to start making some sort of decision.
Yeah,
and not that we need to get this officially all the way done, but we probably want to get it that we could like try what a round looks like. So
right. I do like this flicking idea though. I like that's been the most promising thing I think that comes out of it.
So if we're flicking, is it like, okay, there's a certain area that we are flicking in? Do we need to have a boundary for that? Is it like what's in front of me, what's in front of you? How does it look on the table? How are you envisioning that?
Probably just the size of the table. Like generally flicking games are best when you have things as free form as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that is different about this flicking game from all other flicking games?
Solid question.
You have that simultaneous hide and reveal about which piece you're going to flick.
Okay.
So
does everybody grab them off the table at once or something? Are they all over the place?
So you randomly distribute them around the table, but then
Okay.
you hide based on what it is. And then you can use that giant yellow pillar as the first player. And then when you reveal, whoever has the first player marker gets to flick their thing first. And if there's only one purple thing, everyone chose purple, then the first person gets the first dibs, and then everyone else has to just go off of what's there.
Gotcha. So we're going to have one of these dice that is, we're going to pick what color. We're going to hide this and we're going to show what color we're going to do.
Right.
And then we're going to pick a piece of that color.
Every single person will have the same identical die, and then they
Right.
get to pick one color to do.
Gotcha. Okay. And the idea would be if I'm the first player and I pick purple and anyone else pick purple, like I take precedence and I go.
Right.
They don't get to take a purple.
Well,
I just go first.
You get to flick first, and if you are successful in your flick, you might remove that purple piece from the play.
So what are we counting as successful flicks? Just out of curiosity, is it like I flicked this purple into a mouse and knocked it off the table, or like what do we count as successful flicking?
Well,
I feel like that's
maybe we need like this. The mice want the yellow cheese. The cat wants a mouse. The I don't
fish.
know.
The cat could get a fish.
Or fish, yes.
Yeah.
And or cheese if we want to go with the yellow discs.
Exactly. So like
Got it.
every animal or every person has a type that they want, and you just have to go off of that.
Okay. So if go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, so should we be using like one of those cubes or circle discs to flick at the food that we're aiming for, that we like kind of claimed that we're going to go after? And then if we're successful and like say I put the green down, which means I'm going after the green fish, so I'm going to like flick a disc and hope I actually hit a green fish. Is that what we will count as a successful flick? That's where I'm trying to figure out.
Either that or you're flicking the thing that wants to eat the thing at the thing that it's eating, right? So if I want,
let's see, how well does the cat flick?
Yeah, the cat is kind of a tough one to flick. We could pick something else to represent the cat.
Or maybe that's the fun of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Flick him out. Let's see.
I also kind of like the idea that maybe we add one, like without getting too crazy, like a small other element to the game where we're kind of combining some different things. So we're flicking either the animal at the food they want or the food at the animal they want, or just knocking people off, whatever we decide. But maybe as we collect these things, that is like something we can do to like, instead of flicking on my turn, I'm going to take an action to take my 3 fish, and I'm going to like cash my 3 fish in, and then I'm going to like get points for my cat being fed or something. So like there could be some reasons that I don't want to flick because I'm flicking to earn specific things. Because I feel like even in a kid's game, I mean, everybody just flicks and it goes insane. But if there's like some reason that you're flicking, like I like the idea that like the cat cares about the fish and maybe they just can't get to the fish right now. So maybe there's something else they can do, or maybe there's something they could do to like either hurt or help somebody else, depending on it. It doesn't sound co-op to me, but yeah. Cool. Any other thoughts on that?
No, I think that's still my disconnect, is like, what is different? What is more than just flicking? Like, what's going to make it a really fun
I agree.
game?
I think it has to have something other than just flicking. Otherwise, I don't think it's that exciting.
Yeah. So I'm still processing that idea that Heather had like 10 minutes ago, which is this idea that like, okay, we're all simultaneously choosing what face we're going to do, and then the combination of those determines what actually happens. And that would necessarily be like, okay, are the faces all different? In that case, X happens. But is there a match? In that case, Y happens, right? And so you're trying to guess what other players are going to do based on what people need or what the state of the board is.
Yeah, and I really like that because, like, okay, Danielle at one point said, "Oh, if we both did green, maybe we cancel each other out," which reminds me of Go Nuts for Donuts. But at the same time, it's like maybe it's not what it means. It means it's a match, and that could mean something else. So maybe you're like, "Oh, I know Heather wants fish, so if we get a match, we're all gonna get a fish or something." I don't know, but it could be that, and then too many of us do it, and then we're all green, and then we don't get anything or something like that. And that's a fun feeling in a game to be like, yes, I wanted you to do that, thank you.
Yep.
I like that feeling in a game.
Yeah, I mean, we could always just have, I mean, we have 8 of those little cubes that have nothing written on it. We could turn them into dice, or
They could just become
use them
these
as like
cubes
some kind of
because-
counters or something.
Yeah, those other cubes could be these same 3-colored cubes that we have here. Because if the game is going to play more than 3 people, everybody could have one and we could match it that way. I like that a lot. I like that mechanic a lot. And I think that we should definitely keep that in. What else we're doing? Like, do we still add flicking in? Maybe we do. Do we add hiding in? Maybe we do.
You have to have hiding. That's required.
Yeah. So
Well,
I mean,
technically,
still like that
hiding
hiding.
at the same time, that's hiding. Like, we're hiding our die until we reveal it.
That's
so it's
true.
not cheating. That's part of it.
Yeah. So we already have that. We're hiding the die and we're not rolling it.
Yeah.
The other thing we could do too is, you know, if we determine that the whole table has the same color, something crazy happens. If there's a match, if there's a match, something else happens. And if they're all different, something else happens. If that's as simple as it is, then I feel like we have 3 things that could happen. And maybe it could still be, I kind of really like going back to Ian's very first idea, which was there's going to be things out on the board and you hide or move them. So maybe it's like, okay, they're all different. That means, you know, or their match. I like match better for this. If there's a match and Danielle and I match, Danielle and we work together and you guys close your eyes and we try to fool you or something like that, or we're versus each other and they both mess with us. And then, you know, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's all safe if they're all the same, and maybe if they're all different, some chaos thing happens. I don't know, but I kind of like that in theory. Yeah.
Or if we match, like one of us moves something and the other person takes something.
That's true.
So I just had the thought of, what if we are all witches and we're trying to brew something in a cauldron? You know, maybe this is the cauldron, and we're all voting what ingredient goes in next. Is it a purple ingredient? Is it a green ingredient? Yeah, I don't know if we need another idea right now, but
no, I actually kind of like that, because then you're just throwing all the witches' pets that are lying around, I guess, into a cauldron. That feels right.
And it would involve food, because, you know, maybe there were, even if they're not going to eat it, it would be like, these things are food, you know?
Yeah, I mean, for a witch, anything's food, I guess.
Depends on the witch.
If it's a witch's brew idea, if it's a cauldron idea, then when there is a match or when they're all different, for example, what are some things popping into our heads that would represent in the storyline?
I don't know. It's like, do you want to do where it explodes or something if like you match up, or like something bad happens, or I don't know.
The other thing is, you know, again, like, we need more ideas. This is, you know, this is for everybody who's going to do this all weekend. You have the whole weekend to do this, so you can take this much time to come up with all your ideas. But what I was thinking too is, you know, there is an option where, okay, if we match, maybe match doesn't mean we do something to the board. Maybe match means, match means we get to flip one of the other people's dice. This could become where it's a co-op. If they're all different, we get to do something on the board. If they're all the same, like we get to set the dice the way we want or something. I don't know.
That's very clever.
I think something like that could be cool. Because I like the idea, if there was only one match of like only green and green, you got to basically like set one of the greens to whatever you want. So if Ian and Jay had purple and we had green, we would get to take 2 dice and set them to something, and, you know, that would give us things.
It's definitely worth observing that with 3 dice is almost the ideal number for the mechanic that we're talking about. As soon as you get to like, there's 5 or 6 players, it's like, okay, well, there's always going to be some match, and there's never going to be an always match unless it is a co-op and it's like, okay, what are we doing as a team this turn?
Right. So then if this is not just a 3-player game, or, you know, is it the active player sets the dice? But the thing is, they would know. So that doesn't make sense. Now, but they set the dice, but maybe you 3 can affect what I do. Maybe I set it green, green, purple. And then based off what Ian does, I have to flip once. I have to flip something. I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud of ways that we could take 3, and it would make sense to take the 3 dice, pass them around on your active turn, you do something, and it could still play up to 8 people. I don't know, because we can't roll them, so they cannot be random. We cannot tumble them. We cannot shake them.
I mean, we could do something like castles of not castles. Between two cities, where you have each person is trying to get like the same type as the person next to them, and we just have cards in between, and so between the two of you, you have to somehow like coordinate.
This explains why witch games on silver HABA in the US.
That's mean.
Oh, noted.
Yeah, but
So funny.
I think a simple thing to start with is like, okay, like, Jay, these 3 dice, which from the get-go we were all excited about these dice, and then we heard you can't roll dice, and we were kind of going a different direction. So I really like these 3 dice with the color dots, and I think we should definitely use them.
Yeah, I feel like that so far is my favorite of the things that we've said. It's just like mechanic-wise, that's my favorite, and then the food chain, just because like it could be hilarious potentially if done right.
Yeah.
Is there, I mean, obviously this particular dice has 6 different colors on it, but is there a world where there are 3 colors on that dice, 2 sets of 3, and that represents cat, mouse, or fish?
I mean, we do have extra white dice.
We have blank dice that we could doodle on.
That we can make them the way we want, right? Because we could, there could be a food chain, you know, we could get rid of cat and put human, but that's also kind of weird. But
I think I'd rather think of a cat eating a fish and a mouse than a human eating a mouse, personally.
Only problem is whoever's the top of the food chain cannot be eaten, right? So it's like a rock, paper, scissors thing without the last one being able to.
I mean, do you see a mouse or fish eating a cat? I think we're good.
I mean, I guess a human could be afraid of a mouse. I mean,
have you seen some of like? There's a shark.
Oh yeah,
sharks are fish. Like
yeah, they just put mouse. I was just gonna say mouse could like scare the human. They could beat the human in the tie.
It could be a weremouse. You know,
weremouse.
Yeah, we're throwing witches in here. Might as well throw.
I mean, at this point, you know, it's magic now, and you know, whatever.
It's the plague. Boom! There it is. That's how.
Oh boy.
Yeah, maybe not this year. That's not going to do well. Witches don't sell. Maybe plagues do. I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think. Hold on a second.
I think we have a lot of ideas, and we need to actually pick something.
So I think we're sold on the let's
there.
Dice and see how they match.
Yeah. Okay. So then the rest of it, let's go. Which of the many ideas?
So I definitely think that the color should associate with the component.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's real solid.
Here, break up the components into the different coloring groups. Let's go. Go, Jay. I want to see how much of like purple, green, and whatever colors are on those there are, so we know what we're working with.
We have a lot of purple. We have a lot of green.
Yeah. I like the random like ice cream cone looking purple thing. Cone. Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking like that's like a wizard's hat kind of thing. Could be. Now that we're going wizard.
It's like in the blue disc.
Aren't a proper color.
Not a lot of red. Just a carrot. Well, then we have orange too.
There's one orange thing.
One orange is going to be the rarest thing to happen.
Orange could become red's cousin. I don't know.
And then these are okay.
Okay, so those are kind of our options.
Okay, so orange. I mean, we could go basically. There's only 3 red total.
Yeah.
Whatever the heck we do, the priority, like the most rarest, hardest thing to get would be orange, then red. Then we could do any color we want.
Is orange one of the dots on those dice?
Yeah.
Like which are? Oh wow, is red on there too?
It's red, orange, yellow, green, blue. And purple. It's the primary colors.
I mean, there's nothing stopping us from just having one of each.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
I
that
mean,
would
I'm
still be
also okay.
that would be at least 7 pieces. So
Yeah.
Well, then so if we were gonna say we're gonna take one of each of the colors, we've got a carrot, I guess a cheese, I guess a cat, a fish.
I love the cone.
The purple cone is great.
You have a purple cone. Okay.
I love the purple cone. Like that's.
Should we put those all on this little mat? Of the
Yeah,
things
put
we're
it on
thinking
the little
about?
map thing.
Yeah. And we're thinking a cheese, maybe the red
I just
fish.
love how much bigger the cheese is.
What do we think? Green has a lot of options, but I guess
Green's got to be the cat, right?
we want the cat. We want the cat, and then the blue.
Unless we're eating things, in which case maybe not.
The blue could be the disc, or
are we gonna pretend that's like a funky cinnamon roll or something?
Oh, there you go.
It's a cake.
Candy. It's a
cake.
candy.
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
It's
it's
literally-
like a wrapper.
It's a cake.
Like, look at it. It looks like a cake, like a fancy
It does
cake.
look like a cake now.
Okay.
So yeah, there's our 6
This is a
unique
very
pieces.
healthy selection of food.
So okay. Now that we have this, I love this cat piece, but I almost wonder now that I'm looking at these pieces if
that it
makes
doesn't
sense.
work as much.
I
Yeah.
know.
Maybe go with the funky looking shield, arrowhead, whatever we're gonna call
There's
that.
2 green
Bush
discs.
vegetable.
Okay. All right. The mice don't match any of these colors.
Nope.
The mice are what happens when we fail to coordinate our choice, right?
mice
And the
eat
mice
it.
come in and eat our food.
Yes.
We're trying to
Yes.
steal our food, and the mice are eating it.
Yeah, they're getting into the pantry.
Yes.
Ooh,
I love it.
Can we have the cat be like it stops one of the mice if we all match up green?
Well, the cat could be part of the game. Yeah, maybe that's if we all match up green, the cat comes and we remove a mouse from the game or something like that. If there's 5 mice and there's 5 mice, when we get all the mice out of the game, we win. Unless we run out of food first. I don't know. Then it could be co-op.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Game Design Live.
Yeah, literally
Yeah.
just all over.
Well, and this is what happens. Like, I mean, I don't know about you personally, but like when I'm thinking of ideas with my team or even by myself, I probably from the get-go, if it's coming from literal scratch, it probably come up with like 30 to 50 things, and we take like more than sometimes none of them make it. It's just the first things we think about. We have a giant whiteboard and we write a whole bunch of the ones that we like the best out of the hour or 2
I
sessions.
mean, I had one, but
yeah. Oh, that would have been full by now.
I was focusing on the components. I'm sorry.
No, we don't need to write it down. I think it's fine. I love the idea of those mice eating the food. Mice are in.
Yeah.
We're in mice.
Wow, they fit perfectly on there too.
Yeah, they're trying to eat that.
Wow.
We're coming for your pantry, your round, wet pantry.
Ew. How about it be a food table? You could just pop that up with some
Oh,
lights.
yeah, there
Yeah,
you
we
go.
can
Might
prop
make
that
a
up.
little more sense than a wet pantry circle.
Yeah, so we have this is a little table. There's food on the table. Yeah. It's a kitchen table.
We have 4
Yeah.
ways. Why did you choose 3? Oh my goodness.
Just to make it funky.
It's a lazy cat.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. There you go.
So
That
it's
cat does not stand up well.
No, it does not.
No. Oh, that's a very cute picture.
That's
So
adorable.
So I kind of like the idea that if we're all gonna have one of these dice in front of us that we can set, if we don't match anybody match, does that mean does that mean the mice come, or does it mean if we all match the mice come?
It's probably better if they don't match.
Okay.
If
all
every single one is different,
all
that's when the
different.
mouse will come.
No, yeah. If everything is different, then the mice come.
And that's like chaos.
Well, that doesn't scale very well,
They're
unfortunately.
little stools. Aw.
Oh, put the people on it.
Yes. And then
That's the ambiance.
if we match, there's something we can do with the cat.
Yeah, because I don't know.
It doesn't necessarily need to be that the green cat matches green. It could just literally be about matching. And then I guess if it's or maybe it's not matching just 2. Maybe it's more than that. If we're all going to have one now, more than half or something.
What are we still on the flicking idea?
I don't think so.
I think we're
I
off
think that's
flicking.
that. I
Sorry,
think
bud.
the flicking is, unless you have something that works with what we're talking about. I think the flicking is gone.
Yeah.
I think we just need to figure out how do the mice take things away or get on the table, and then
Maybe we need a
how
board.
do we get rid of the mice?
We need a board.
We
So
need a
I can
board.
tell you that the lose condition is when all 5 mice have gotten into the pantry.
Agree.
Or on the table.
Yeah, I agree that that's the lose
Yeah,
condition.
on the table. Yeah.
And the win condition must be that we have to, either eat X number of things or go X number of rounds before the mice are all on the table.
So is it like if they get on the table, step 1, step 2, they eat something, and for like every round that it's left on the table, it just like eats something? Or is it a mice or like a mouse comes up, grabs something, brings it back with it? Because how many mice do we have? We have like 5.
We have 5 mice.
Which 5 is a good number of like, it could be more than 5 rounds, but I mean, even if it was 5 rounds, that's still not bad for this type of game. I'm trying to think though, like it's pretty easy if we're setting the colors that we're not going to match, and that would mean that the mice are going to do something. But if we just need to get 1 match, that's probably pretty likely if there's going to be 5 or 6. So then I was thinking, okay, if we all match the same color, like more than half of us match the same color, is that still too hard to combat the fact that the chaos could happen so much that we need something to combat the mice just coming in like that?
So what I want to know is what is it that we're trying to achieve with the colors that we're doing? Because if it's just like, okay, I'm choosing a color, and if I match with somebody and it doesn't matter which color matched, then it's just random and it's arbitrary. But if we can achieve something by getting that 2 green, right? Some specific thing that we need now as opposed to later.
What about?
And it's interesting.
No, I think the cat is the hero, just to answer that question.
What if we have to match the exact color of the items on the table? So if Jay and I match orange,
like
we save orange, or something like that. I don't know. I was just thinking of maybe we don't want the mice to come in, but if there's 6 people playing, we could potentially save the pieces that are there, but maybe if we all do that color, we don't save it.
Ian looks like he's got ideas.
I got ideas.
Go.
It requires a board though. So the board has colored paths coming in, and so every mouse has its own little path, and they're all kind of marching in. And I don't know how many spaces it's going to be, but every path has different colors on them, of the 6 colors. And any color that is not matched, the mice move along those spots, kind of like candy.
Oh, I like that.
I like
you have a whiteboard. What are you doing? Why aren't you using it?
Because it's just
all right.
support.
Keep going.
Okay, hold on. We have 7 minutes left.
Yeah. But I feel like we're getting this together, and I like the idea that there is a process to why we want to match. And again, it might be that start of the game, it's well, there's a bunch of colors, don't really know what's the right thing to do. But at the end of the game, it could really be important to we should go for green. But if too many of us go for green, it's wow, it's too obvious.
No, I like his idea that that's how they move, because then it's interesting. But then, how do we get them from taking our? I mean, is the table just going to have the little food pieces or on different sections, and each mouse is coming in on their own color path, or is it different?
I think so.
So it's like this. Ooh.
There, you got this.
The mice are coming in. Yep.
So the mice start out here, and then this is a red, this is a blue, this is a green, this is a yellow, this is a purple, this is
orange.
Candyland.
Literally like Candyland. And anytime that you do not match the right color, every single mouse moves to that color if possible.
Every single mouse, not just we get to choose. Okay, we didn't match a purple, so let's move this guy on the purple.
Yeah, I suppose we could do that too.
Yeah, I feel like it'll go too quickly otherwise.
Yeah, we would have to play test that.
Yeah, together as a group, we will decide okay, let's make this mouse go to purple and this one go to orange.
Right.
Yeah, because I do there's Under Falling Skies does something fun where you roll the dice and then you're trying to get them on a certain spot so you can blow them up. And so if you do match something and they're on the right spot,
can we make the cat move?
They just move back to the beginning.
Oh, the cat could move.
No, what
from
I'm saying
the
is, like,
table
can we have
outward.
the cat move outward and try to eat the mice, like,
Yeah,
somehow?
Why not?
I don't know if, like, all of us match, like, we move the cat to that color, and it's like we're hoping that the mouse is on the same color as the cat, and then...
It could even be as simple as the cat scares things back, so they go further away, so that it's harder for them to get to the center. That's even another way to do it. Don't have to necessarily like take it off the board in this way, but we're thinking it through. It could be like, okay, well, there's the 5 spokes, and there's the cat or the mice around them, and they start at the end, and then one's kind of getting close to the table, and we're like, we need a match of green so we can,
But I feel like we can't. Are we trying to do like a we can't talk like the mind situation, or?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like, or we can say like we need to all match, but we can't actually say what color.
But everyone be like,
you all have to just be like,
we need to match. Look at the board.
all right, ready, go.
Yeah, honestly, hopefully.
I think it would be interesting if the colors that I'm doing on my dice aren't just what we're doing as a team. They are also me trying to communicate some hit information that I have. This is what I'm thinking. If each player has all of the pieces of one color, for example, in a specific order, right, an arbitrary order, and some of them are the pieces that you want, some of them are the pieces that you don't want, right? Then I can be communicating, okay, you really want to be playing purple right now, or you really don't want to be playing purple right now, by which die I choose, and that can change based on like the order of it. So we're trying to get things onto the table or into the pantry, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's
and
twofold.
You up that the mice come, or something like that.
I like that it's twofold, because maybe it's like maybe we're playing with a bunch of people, and it's kind of clear that we can all see the mice are coming, so somebody's probably going to match. So Jay says, instead of matching, I'm going to show purple because I want people to realize this information, which is kind of cool.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I like that.
Or it doesn't have to be that I've got all the blue
Purples.
pieces and I know which it could be that everybody just has a random assortment of pieces, but they're in a specific order. And so this turn, right now, I'm looking at this. This is my secret supply here: purple, green, green, blue. Right. So if I can get the group to match on purple, then this is going to go onto the table. But if I don't, the mice are going to get it. And that's one less potential food item for the family.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like it.
Yeah, way
Done.
to have all this like figured out like
Done.
before an hour is
3
done.
minutes
Done.
ago.
We're done. Sign us now.
We just had to talk it through. We got
We
it.
don't need play testing.
So I started kind of like just while everyone was talking there, writing down some of these ideas. So so Jay's idea, we'll add that in, and maybe we'll actually like hash some of these thoughts out and post it somewhere in the Discord this weekend with like a little image.
Well, I mean, like we took an hour. Like that's
good job.
Good.
Oh wait, what are we naming the game?
Oh God, I saw a lot of suggestions on the comments.
Mice in the pantry.
Correct answer is let's ask chat.
Let's
Yeah,
ask chat.
honestly.
Quiet
I guess
as a
I like
mouse.
Quiet as a mouse.
Let's see that one.
Let's see.
I guard this food. We've got the table. Oh, that's
Genius table.
Genius table, I think was just a comment, but
Yeah, but
Table scraps. I don't know.
I don't hate that. Table scraps
don't
is
like
interesting.
Huh.
Or I don't want to call it mouse scraps, but I was thinking
I was
something
gonna
like
say cat fights mouse.
we need a pun in there, so it's like table it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. There's a mouse in the house. I don't know.
yeah.
The hardest part naming. No table talk. Don't chew with your mouth full. No, I'm just-
Yeah.
Actually, that's really cute. Don't talk with your mouth full.
With your
Yeah,
mouth full.
That's it. Yeah.
Mouthful.
Your mouth full.
A mouthful instead of a mouthful.
Oh wow!
Gross.
Don't talk
We'd
with your
funny,
mouth
but-
full. Wow.
I know. It's not good.
Oh yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
I guess we could wrap it up.
Yeah.
I feel like we got pretty good on this game, everyone. Yes.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I'm
Nailed
weirdly
it.
surprised how well we just did that in like the last 10 minutes.
All right, Ian, why don't you go first and kind of like tell people what you do and where they can find you?
All right, so you can see right here is my Twitter handle. I do most of my stuff there, but I also run Gravitation Games, which is a brand new neat little publishing company that makes games that pull people in. Get it? Gravitation. And so the first game that we have is right there. Please Fix the Teleporter. It's a cute little pattern matching game that is appropriate for pretty much anyone. And I would appreciate it if you check it out. There's a free print and play on gravitation.games. And I'd love to talk more about games on my Twitter right there, because I don't get enough and it's COVID time.
Yeah. Awesome. How about you, Danielle?
So I'm Danielle Reynolds. You can find me on Facebook, DMR Creative Group, Twitter at Creative DMR, and on Instagram at Token Gamer, and that's GAYMER. And so, yeah, you can find me in all those.
Jay?
You can find me on Twitter at JTreat3. You can also go to my website, treatgames.com. Very complicated. You can find my games from WizKids, Daily Magic, Mayday Games, Button Shy. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Cool. And I'm Heather O'Neill, CEO of Ninth Level Games, which makes board games and role-playing games, things like Schrodinger's Cats and Pavlov's Dogs. I'm also I've got a couple of games in the works with different publishers that got put through this year. And I also quit my full-time job and I'm freelancing in the game industry now. So I'm now on the board of UNPUB and working with people to run their Kickstarter. So if you have any questions about NunPub or UNPUB or games, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter. This was fun, everybody. Good job.
Yeah, thanks everyone in chat. Thank you.
Yeah, go team.
We got there. We got there finally. So it worked out. So thank you. Maybe we'll put something up more about it. Maybe we won't, but I feel like we got pretty close.
I think we should. Yeah, why not?
Sure.
Just one more thing to do.
Just one more thing we have to do.
I'm going to go to bed because I have work tomorrow morning.
That's fair.
I didn't quit my full-time job to do games.
Yeah.
Yeah, my full-time job is more games. So,
I followed Jay's lead.
All right. It was great hanging out with you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
See you
Good night. Bye, everyone.
Good night.